stole your design. We gotta get it back for that.
I have a plan. Together, we empty out every single Metro designer in the Bay Area.
We gotta take what's ours. We should coordinate.
I can't see. I think my nose is in the eye hole. This is what it looks like when you put your skin when you put your skin suit on wrong. Like in this movie, you put the skin suit on wrong.
Holy shit.
I am Tanner Richard Kraft.
Welcome to Bing Bang Burger. What can I bop you with today? Hi, I'm John Luke the Guard.
I'm Din Djarin, and I'm about to marry Zendaya.
And we have a special guest joining us once again.
Court Curvaceres C.
That's true. That's their actual name. And if you couldn't tell by my skin bit, we're talking about I Love Boosters, the newest Boots Riley film, Boots Riley's first film since Sorry to Bother You, which was 8 years ago. Wow, that was a long time. I saw that in Ohio with someone that won't be named. But LeBron James. But before, actually not before, because we don't have a warm-up question at all. There's a lot of meat on the bone of this movie. So this is one of those times where I've foregone the warm-up question. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I couldn't think of one. But before we start discussing the movie overall, I just want to address someone in the audience. Boots Riley, I know you're watching this. You somehow find every single little tweet, Reddit post, anything about this movie. You were posting on the theater's employee subreddit at 2 a.m. the other day, begging people to see this movie. And this is not hate. I respect the hustle. This movie cost $20 million. You want the investors to get recouped on their investment so you can continue to make movies. I get it. I respect the hustle. I'm just aware of the fact that there's a very real chance you're going to see this. So if so, hi. Big fan of your work. I'm about to get into that. So, let's get into our thoughts on I Love Boosters.
In fashion, humanity is our canvas. But the Velvet Gang is reducing our margins. I can bob and weave.
Christy Smith stole my design.
What?
Starting with Austin.
It's a huge, enormous fan of Sorry to Bother You. I have been anticipating this project ever since the teaser dropped on January 27th. But my husband forgot who Boots was, because it's been 8 fucking years since his last movie. And as the weekend of the 22nd was coming up, we were heavily occupied with helping Sid's grandparents move out of their assisted living facility because they ran out of money. Before we knew all this shit was going down, though, we scored absolutely fucking primo opening night Dolby Cinema seats to The Mandalorian and Grogu, like weeks in advance, in addition to our I Love Boosters tickets. But the situation accelerated a little faster than we expected, and at the end of the week, we realized we only could see one movie. After exactly 100 milliseconds, I made my mind up. America really only has one out and proud communist filmmaker, and we were gonna support his fucking art. So I returned our I Love Booster tickets, and I saw The Mandalorian and Grogu. And I think the way Comrade Favreau used Majin Daytuna's long crystal smuggling as an allegory for the Bossk separatist movement was really ingenious. There was, though. There was a moment early on in I Love Boosters where I realized we were about to see something so much better than like a late Disney era Star Wars film. When the opening credits came on and the soundtrack by Oakland-based music group Tune-Yards started fucking blasting out of the speakers, it all came rushing back to me. There are no other American filmmakers who even come close to approximating Boots Riley's specific style. He has this sort of like hipsterish handmade quality of like a Spike Jonze or a Michel Gondry, and like kind of the all-encompassing artifice of a Wes Anderson, and the same chaotic directing style of new primitivist Serbian filmmaker Emir Kusturica. You've heard of the other ones though. And as much as like his visual flair would be the main attraction for any other guy, the real draw with Boots is the fact that on top of all that other cool shit, he's enough of a communist to make Paolo Pasolini look like Peter Berg. Recently, we had an uptick of Eat the Rich movies that were only comfortable enough to kill like a couple of isolated millionaires or comment on how rigged the game is without offering workable solutions. Meanwhile, Boots Riley makes movies about collective action, labor exploitation, transnational worker solidarity, the type of content that the Pentagon fights really hard to keep off movie theater screens. And besides how refreshing it is to see an American movie about people forming a union and organizing a strike, Boots has another, more devious trademark that I was really happy to see pop up again. For the last 8 years, I have not been shy about telling people how crazy it was when that horseman shows up in Sorry to Bother You. It was like somebody dropped a hydrogen bomb on my fucking movie theater. He lulls you in with these silly fun colors, and then he socks you in the face with some diabolical freak shit when you least expect it. And in I Love Boosters, you get 2 of those classic, like, Boots Riley riles you up moments. Spoiler warning for anybody who has not seen the movie, stop listening right the fuck now and go see I Love Boosters in theaters. Or on VOD, depending on when you watch this. So get this. The first one's basically a sucker punch. After the movie full of like non-stop, goofy, bright-colored foolishness, all of a sudden, we're getting a sex scene between Lakeith Stanfield and his real-life wife, Kashmir Therese Stanfield. Everybody around me was surprisingly into it. Lakeith is like the funniest bit character in the movie by a mile. He turns into this giant, disgusting hentai demon, and he sucks her soul out from between her fucking legs. The sequence lasts for like 2 minutes straight, and I could see random people in my audience in the various stages of like deciding if they were gonna walk out depending on how long this kept going. It was really cool. The second one comes way later in the film and is more reminiscent of the Equisapiens in Sorry to Bother You. Boots is really great at dropping hints that only land on like a subconscious level, before he unveils, some disgusting, fucked up science fiction twist later. In Sorry to Bother You, it's a lot of horse-related language that you're not paying attention to. Little visual bits in the worry-free commercials. In I Love Boosters, they lay the groundwork during this Viggo Mortensen narrated documentary about Christy Smith, where it's briefly touched upon that she was a child prodigy who was big into STEM before she transitioned into fashion. One of the things that drives the movie is Corvette and the gang are trying to steal these top secret $100,000 suits. And with all the costumes that Shirley Kurata made for the movie, it's reasonable to think there's just going to be some, like, exceptional-looking $100,000 suit that's going to show up, right? But then, during the movie's climax, we see this coterie of local community celebrities wearing the most generic black and white suits you could possibly think of, claiming that these are the $100,000 suits. And as they're getting robbed at gunpoint by the boosters, they're told to remove the suits and hand them over. And for the first time since Scarlett Johansson in 2013, these motherfuckers just start removing their skin. The shock value was tremendous. But it's also the payoff to this satirical, like these news broadcasts that play throughout the movie. Stuff like a crying black mother pleading for increased police presence in the neighborhood and higher rent. We find out that these class traders on the news are actually paid actors who take shifts wearing skin suits, playing each other. And in one of the craziest pieces of accidental marketing I have ever seen, this movie came out 3 days after the Fox News Robert Harward face mask controversy. For those who don't know, Fox News had this retired vice admiral on to talk about some bullshit, and if you pay attention to his neck, it looks like he's wearing a hyper-realistic face mask. People were quick to judge it because Fox News has been caught using the same actor to play Antifa member and Mexican cartel guy before, so it wouldn't be the first time. Yeah, I've got way too much to say about this movie. I Love Boosters does a really good job of emulating the emotional highs of a crowd pleaser trash cinema while folding in socialist and communist ideas. I know that Obsession and Backrooms are getting a lot of hype, but this movie was the original Mando killer. This was the original better ticket you could get than the Mandalorian and Grogu. For the love of God, please go purchase it with your money so Boots can do his Battleship Potemkin remake. Yeah, this one's like an 8.5 out of 10 for me after bonus points. Thanks for letting me talk. Back to you, Tanner.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, please, if it's, God willing, if it's still playing in a theater near you, please go see it. It's only playing in one near us, and it has like 2 showtimes a day. But, you know, it's still out there in some more art house centric theaters. Tim, what are your thoughts on I Love Boosters?
Yeah, I thought this movie was really interesting. Echoing all of Austin's points. It's just I also quite enjoyed Sorry to Bother You when I watched it, 8 years ago. And I was excited to see Boots make something else. And I kept seeing the trailers for this in front of all of the screenings of Twin Peaks episodes earlier this year. So I was just interested to see what this movie would be. Austin's hammered on a lot of the points about the messaging of this movie, involving labor unions and the socialist commentary of the movie, and I think a lot of that is what really makes this movie strong. And it's just a very visual metaphor heavy movie. You keep seeing Keke Palmer seeing the giant ball of bills and stuff coming after her, and I'm just felt. Absolutely.
It follows me everywhere too. I have the same problem.
Yeah. And you get a lot of stuff like that. I do love, Austin kind of touched on this, how it's a movie that for a lot of the first hour or so, it feels like it's very quirky, but not that weird until it gets into the really fucking weird shit, like the fucking soul-sucking pussy eater demon, and the skin suits, and the device that can teleport things or change things or atomize things. It is just so funny how it lulls audiences into thinking they'll be seeing something kind of weird, and then they get something really fucking weird. I distinctly remember after the movie ended, the woman right next to me just goes, "Boots Riley, when I get my hands on you." I just think of that comment. Is just such a funny response to this movie. Yeah, I think it's a really good movie. It's messy, but in the right ways. It's messy because it's just doing so much. And I think besides all of the really poignant commentary, I think something that's really strong about this movie is it's just so stylish. You have basically Demi Moore as the big boss in this tower that's leaning, and you get that little scene of Keke Palmer sneaking in there, and she's doing a little cartoon run up the fucking leaning tower. Just absurd shit like that.
Done practically, by the way.
Yeah, I do love that. I read something about Demi Moore used star power to just be yeah, we need to get this done today. We're not pushing this back.
The opposite, actually. Apparently, what happened was they needed to film that tower scene, and it was required that they needed to build that set way earlier than originally planned, which would greatly increase the production budget. It would have greatly increased costs, and Demi Moore personally changed her own schedule so it could happen later, and she said, "No, I'm changing the schedule. We need to make this work." Thank you, Demi Moore.
Yeah, there you go.
This movie needed every dollar it could save.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you got that. I think another thing that is really impressive about this movie is just immaculate color palette, which is something that is rare these days. We have so many movies these days that look so muddy and dull, and this is just popping in your fucking face with green and yellow and fucking rainbow colors. This movie is not afraid of color, and I really admire that. Yeah, just overall, a really solid movie. Again, if you are able to see this in a theater, go see it in a theater. Um, if not, rent it, stream it, just fucking watch it. Back to you, Tanner.
Absolutely great stuff. Great stuff. I couldn't agree more with everything you're saying. All right. Lauren, I know you are very, very excited to talk about this, so go ahead and let it rip.
Yeah. So my favorite scene in this movie was when the boosters are in the truck trying to escape Eric Andre in his like armored, militarized police tank of mass destruction, and their teleporter machine gets stuck. So not only is it stuck on teleport mode, but it is stuck under the car, which is being dragged down the street, and shards of metal are being scraped off the rim of the tire, and they're being teleported through time and space all the way to a factory in China where Jianhu's cousin is currently running from the factory's security guards, and the cousin is aiming his teleporter at the guards to keep them at bay. This was a beautiful representation of how all of our struggles are connected, and resistance in one part of the world can help those suffering in other parts. Lakeith Stanfield is such a convincing actor that I fully believed he was a questionably employed Italian pervert. And I truly believe... Can you not vape?
No, I'm sorry.
I think you killed him. I think you killed him.
That was like a spit take, but a vape take. Oh my god.
It's awesome.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Right as the cloud was hitting its peak, he coughed out of laughter. It was beautiful.
Oh my god. Okay, I truly believe that his character is supposed to represent the ever-present temptation to be whisked away by a European Union citizen and go live in a world where human rights are only kind of under attack. But like Lakeith Stanfield's character, it's important to remember that these men are demons who prey on American girls looking for an escape, ready to suck our souls out of us. And side note, has anyone else been following the hot chef drama on TikTok?
I uninstalled TikTok forever ago.
It is also on Threads. Okay, but moving on. There were other great little jokes in this movie, like how during the strike scene toward the end of the film, Christine doesn't recognize Corvette as the girl who had snuck into apartment because Corvette had changed her wig. Right? Typical cultureless whitey behavior. I also loved that Will Poulter's manager character looked exactly like Caesar Flickerman from the Hunger Games, because that dickhead was 100% running interference for the ruling class too. I love that the boosters easily could have turned reactionary on Jianhu, accusing her of stealing their loot, but then they listened to her and they realized how much Christine was stealing from all of them. I also love that this movie took on a theme that I've been noticing in a lot of movies in the past year or two, which is the idea that just because someone's technically a criminal doesn't mean that they're a bad person, nor that the law is like the end-all be-all for morality. We can also see this undercurrent theme in Roofman and Begonia, just to name a few. But really, like this movie gets to the core of like intellectual and cultural theft are in many cases like a lot more damaging than theft of property. And can I just say, Boots Riley, that I drove out to the suburbs of my city to see this movie. Like, I was astroturfing the box office in a town that I don't live in because I believe in this movie so much. So shout out to you, because again, we know you're watching. Overall, like this was kind of my favorite movie I've seen in a while. From the color, again, to Tim's point, like actually looking beautiful instead of like a Walmart commercial, to the soundtrack having honest to God heist music. I had so much fun watching this. The only thing that I would change about the movie would be like a second post-credit scene where Corvette gets to eat her favorite comfort candy again. I would have liked to have seen that, but I will, you know, maybe give Boots Riley a little bit more credit here and say that maybe a world change for the better is comforting enough. So on that note, go organize your workplace.
True. It's good. I'm lucky enough to already be in a union job. Very grateful for it. We're actually wrapping up on some negotiations for our next contract here soon. At least I hope we are, because it needs the board meets next week and we're supposed to have a deal done by the end of the month. So
See,
hopefully.
I keep telling my workplace that we need to unionize, and they keep thinking I'm joking.
You're being deadly serious. Good.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Precisely. I did really, really like this movie. I love this movie. It's just outside of my top 5 of the year because I see 1 trillion movies. When I saw Sorry to Bother You, again, fucking 8 years ago now, I liked it fine. I remember thinking it felt a little long in the tooth or something like that. I don't even really remember. I just remember not vibing with it. I think the actual problem is I did the most demented, and I've brought this up a dozen times. Austin's already grinning because I'm bringing this up. I did the most demented double feature of all time, which was Sorry to Bother You and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. And I saw Mamma Mia first. They were in theaters at the same time, and I wanted to watch both. And Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again was such a sugar rush of a movie that I think immediately going to Sorry to Bother You, which is like a movie that dealt with real themes, I don't think I was in the mood for after the sugar rush. So this was on my radar because I liked Sorry to Bother You, even if I didn't love it. But then Austin came in and he was screaming its praises. He was saying it's not really a heist movie. It's like a cartoon, live action cartoon. It's really funny. And I'm like, well, I like comedy, so I'll go to the theater to see it. And here's the problem. Here's the problem with what Austin did. Yes, he did convince me to see the movie, which I was probably going to see anyway, but he made me put it up on my priority list by telling me it was a really goofy, funny comedy. When what he should have led with was he should have burst into my cubicle, grab me by the shoulder, shake me, and say, Tanner, there's a movie out in over 1,500 theaters where a critical plot point is a China-invented Marxism ray. He should have led with the Marxism ray. I couldn't believe what I was saying. When it was just this teleporter, I was like, cool. Yeah, that's a fun sci-fi concept. And then this person comes in and is like dialectical materialism, and I'm like, what the fuck? You're allowed to say that in a movie that comes out in 1,000 theaters? You're allowed to quote Engels in here? Whoa. That stuff was all so delightful. It felt like I was finally being rewarded for reading all that theory I did in high school instead of socializing. It was really fun in that regard. But even if you weren't a communist, I think there's a lot to get out of this movie. At its core, it's a movie, I think, about being there for one another at its absolute basic core, whether that is a worker on the other side of the planet or your closest friend. It's ultimately a story about being there for one another, which is obviously a theme and narrative I can get behind. And I really appreciate that stuff. And I think that stuff's well done. But more than that, it's really fucking funny. The fucking gag with like Tim brought up earlier when she's running and trying to get out of the thing, that's a funny gag. While the Bills ball is an excellent visual metaphor, it's also just really funny that keeps following her around. The like fucking you have to do the sprint thing during your 30-second lunch break. Yeah, that's a really good bit. I felt that. I used to work a job that had pretty short lunch breaks. Sucked, but it was nice to. I don't work that anymore, but I felt that. That's really funny. I have never had a manager as bad as Nick Poulter's character, Will Poulter's character in this movie, but I have friends who have had managers that bad. The ones that are like, I believe I'm a part of this company. Buddy, you work for Macy's. Shut up. You know, people like, or fucking like a design. What are designer brands? It's fucking American Eagle. Is that a designer brand? I don't know. I don't follow this shit. I shop at Old Navy, where I get most of my clothes. Which has its own problems, I'm aware, but like the fashion industry and shit. Actually, I get most of my clothes from thrifting nowadays. Thrifting and novelty t-shirt websites.
And St. Louis Community College.
That's true. I'm literally wearing, I have so many clothes for my job, and I could actually wear just shirts I got from my job for 2 weeks straight and be fine. and would not need to wash. That's where I get most of my clothes. The acting in general is really spectacular. Keke Palmer has had really just like, I feel like a career revival the last 5, 6, 7 years or so. She's a tremendously talented actress, and she's been getting fantastic work time and time again. This movie's great. She was obviously fantastic in Nope. There was Alice from a few years ago. There was Pimp from, I think, the same year Sorry to Bother You came out, which, fun fact, Pimp and Alice is apparently what made Boots Riley go, oh, she can like actually act. That's mean. It was more that it made him realize that
she
had
Jackson VP.
Exactly, and that she had a tremendous range. I have to say, I think my favorite joke in the movie, though, was can't remember who it was. I can't remember what the character's name was, but when they're trying to rob that store and they're supposed to have a decoy white person, and the decoy white person doesn't show up, and
Robin Thede.
Thank you. Yeah, Robin Thede's just like, hold on, don't worry, and fucking pops down, holds her breath, pops back up. It's just a completely different person. And what kills me about it is that's a funny gag, but the look on Keke Palmer's face when it cuts back to her is so funny. She looked like impressed, disgusted, and horrified all in one. It's so brilliant. It's great physical comedy in that moment. I also want to shout out the visual effects in general. I think a lot of days, movies that come out, even smaller movies, have a very polished, when it does use VFX, it's a very polished look to them. Boots Riley intentionally went out to make it, he wanted the VFX to look VFX-y, for lack of a better term. The word he used was janky. He didn't want it to look polished. He wanted it to look janky. And when I realized that the climactic race scene was being done with miniatures, and this is right after, by the way, that they have this wonderful, some of the best stop motion animation I've seen blended in live action in a while with the skin suit people. Apparently that was directly inspired by Ray Harryhausen, who is probably best known for Clash of the Titans, amongst other movies. Maybe the most legendary stop motion animator of all time. You can see that influence. And then the miniature cars in the miniature set right after that for the climactic chase scene was so delightful. I loved how when Eric Andre is in his battle tank, it kind of just looked like he was standing in a PNG. And I mean that complimentary. Like, it kind of reminded me, you guys remember those, like, this is technically before my time, but I went back and played them because I was poor, so I just played old computer games as a kid. Those like old like full motion video games that would like, it'd be a video game and then it would cut to live action footage of them like in a box talking to the screen, those kind of games. It reminded me of that, which I just found delightfully charming. Like, I thought Mark Hamill from Wing Commander was gonna fucking fly in or some shit. God, and like Tim, Lauren, everyone's been saying, it's so colorful. And I want to say that the use of color is apparently, it's interesting here, because a lot of, we've all come onto the show and complained that a lot of modern movies are being poorly lit, they're being flatly lit, etc., etc. The use of color, while this movie is well lit, it's not actually colored lighting. It's all from the set design and costume design. The cinematographer, Natasha Breyer, I think, apparently intentionally wanted to keep her lighting grounded in what would make sense in the environment, and worked with the costume department and the set design departments to still give it that really colorful look. And it really shines through. There's just a bunch of little things. I love the leaning tower that Demi Moore lives in. Both is just a fun visual gag. Secondly, from what I understand, that references a real building in San Francisco that looks fucked up or something.
It's true.
I don't know anything about that. I've never been to San Francisco. I want to visit sometime. But apparently references a real building, but also it felt like a perfect metaphor that the working class people like Keke Palmer's character was struggling in this environment, while Demi Moore, a person that was born into luxurious wealth, felt right at home at the uneven ground. I thought that was like a nice subtle visual metaphor thing going on there, while also just being fucking funny. It's really a blast. It has a lot of meaningful, important stuff to say about, you know, workplace unionization, dialectical materialism. A shout out, I forget the actress's name, but that one worker that was trying to get everyone to unionize before it really started to get ahead. Her last name is literally Salt, and she's a Salt. That was a fun bit. Just great movie, and I'm sure we're going to have more to say in general discussion after a brief commercial break. Feels so funny to say commercial break while the Soviet Union flag is behind me.
We're trying to get together to get longer breaks and a third more of our money. We gotta force this. We gotta force it.
Who's we?
Welcome back from that commercial break for another commercial. See that shit over there? That's a movie palette. Takes the primary color of every frame of the movie, slops it up these little bits, puts it on a palette for your viewing pleasure. That's the one for the movie Punch Drunk Love. Tim is pointing to the one for the movie Mandy. They have plenty of other ones on the site. I'm sure you can get Sorry to Bother You on there. If it's not on there, I can tell you more about that later. When this comes to video, you should get one of this one because I imagine the colors of this one would really translate beautifully to that one. So you can go to moviepalette.com, enter, add whatever palette you want to your cart. And if they don't have the one you already want, for a little extra money, you can get one custom made. So go there, add it to your cart. But while you're checking out, make sure you enter the code SQUAD15 to save 15% on your order. Thank you so much for listening. And now back to the program.
Tanner, you said your favorite bit was when I think it was Taylor Page holds her breath and then comes up and is a different person.
Yeah.
What was everyone else's favorite bit in the movie, or at least the part that got you to laugh the hardest?
I mean, I think the one that just immediately comes to mind is the Lakeith Stanfield pussy demon thing. It's just such a out of left field fucking thing, and I do love how there's still just a vibe of like, he's got to be good at eating pussy though. But
that's great.
It's so. I just fucking love how in that one thing is like, I have to be honest with you. I am a demon.
Yeah, I am a demon.
I was like, oh,
I suck souls out of pussies.
Oh, that wasn't like a metaphor. That was literal. All right.
I could barely hold it together whenever he was on screen and the camera was wobbling like
fucking
that.
The way the camera wobbled. Just every time he talked with that voice, destroyed me.
He's doing the Euphoria thing. He's just shedding tears with a fucking completely while delivering the monologue.
That's another thing. Every time I cut to his close-up, it looked like he was crying.
Yep. There were two moments near the end of the film that made me laugh a lot with him. It was when he immediately lets them in the door to the special show. He's like, I can't remember, but they kind of like, he like fucks it up. He says something wrong and she like leaves, and it just does this really quick cut to him going shit, and then it cuts to the rest of the sequence. I thought that was good, but then later he like completely like fucks over his career in order to help the boosters, and they just like he's in the middle of just like, I betrayed everything in order to make you love me, and they just start ignoring him, and he just goes in a completely normal voice. It's like, damn, and it was just really good. I was like, oh my god. Hearing him, the Lakeith Stanfield stuff fucking definitely made me laugh the most. Although, some of the subtitles on the Chinese people, very funny shit. Specifically, like, during the scene Lauren mentioned when he's shooting the little fucking things out of the teleporter, and he's like, I thought you wanted this! It's really good subtitles on this.
How have we not talked about the fucking pyramid scheme bit that permeates throughout the movie? Because it pays off beautifully when Lakeith Stanfield brings it up. He's like, would you like to be my special friend?
They talk about bringing it back to China to fix everything.
I love that it's literally that's many movies have done this gag before, many more will do it since, but it kills me every time when someone's describing a little pyramid scheme with a visual aid that has a literal pyramid on it. Especially if they just turn the pyramid upside down to think people won't notice.
Yeah, it's just the Office gag where they just draw the triangle around. It's just like, you gotta make a phone call.
Just so many.
Know that was Don Cheadle. I didn't recognize him. I'm
Don?
sorry.
I only knew Don Cheadle was in the movie, but when he popped up, I was like, what the fuck? I recognize his voice. Mostly because I've played the Space Jam: A New Legacy trailer so many times in my life that I'd recognize Don Cheadle's voice anywhere.
I'm also
Look,
just
don't
recognizing
question
because you have that "Hi, I'm Don Cheadle" soundbite in our soundboard.
I don't know what you're talking about. What soundboard?
Hi, I'm Don Cheadle.
God damn it! How's he supposed to?
I'll find
How's he
it.
supposed to edit
That's a
that?
problem for later.
I'll find it.
There's kind of an origin story to this movie, kinda. So this is based off the Coup song from Pick a Bigger Weapon. There was a song called "I Love Boosters."
Yep.
But the whole thing, the origin of it was Boots Riley was a broke rapper, and he needed to look cool because he was a rapper. It was like part of it was almost like the workers in this movie, where in order to show up to work, they needed to wear nice clothes. But you're broke, so how do you square that circle? And the answer is boosters. So Boots Riley, in Oakland doing rapping, like he had to actually, buy shit from boosters. And apparently the majority of the boosters he ran into were women. And that partially inspired the song, which led to this movie. There's a little bit of background on I Love Boosters specifically. Which is neat.
Yeah, I was reading about how, like, basically the influence for this is just how a lot of the fashion industry is designs that are, like taken from black people and charged at a price that they couldn't possibly afford in their circumstances. Yeah. It's fucked up.
Yes. My brain shifted to neutral. Forgot what I was going to say.
Like this being a movie about fashion, I do love how it leads to so many just creative out there designs, like Keke Palmer's design with just all the little like visors or whatever are on the
That
sides.
shit was tough.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That shit was actually hard as hell. I fucking loved that shit.
It has to be. I mean, the person who observes it in a store and is like, I'd rock the fuck out if that was a pregnant woman. Like, I imagine you have to make pretty fucking solid-looking designs if pregnant women are like, yeah, that's it. That's what I want to wear.
Yeah, there you go.
Good shit.
Most women I know in my life who have been pregnant, just the fashion is one of the last things on their mind a lot of the time. So it must have been extra hard.
Yeah, exactly. This movie is like fucking kind of a dream team cast-wise. It's got Keke Palmer in it. I'm convinced that. Nah. I'm convinced some people like Keke Palmer as much as white people like Tom Hanks. Like there were a lot of excited people in my theater about Keke Palmer. But also it was nice to see Taylor Page having fun. The last time I saw her was in Welcome to Derry. Naomi Ackie to a similar degree. She had some fun in Mickey 17, but I'm glad she got to have fun after Blink twice. It was nice seeing specifically Naomi Ackie and Taylor Page in a goofy comedy getting to have a good time. Really, really fucking nailed it with the casting here.
I do have to ask if Demi Moore is allowed to read everyone else's script because, I don't know, the recent things she said about AI is here to stay kind of makes me feel like she is actually not in it for the workers. So I'm like, why are you here?
I think Demi Moore said that at a con, and it's very funny because you can see the other people on the jury are just kind of like, shut the fuck up, Demi. You can tell by the body language. It was some stupid shit she said. I don't know. With her, I think a lot of people are being misled on what this technology is actually, regardless of environmental effects, regardless of the societal effects. I think a lot of people are being misled on what the technology is even capable of doing, which is why a lot of these people like to say this. It's here to stay. I also think that the bubble, or whatever it is the house of cards is going to come tumbling down on that one soon. I knew it was going to happen because yesterday Amazon Web Services Twitter account tweeted out some shit that said if your product is designed entirely with AI code, you don't have a product at all. It was like, whoa, Amazon saying this shit? What's happening? Between that and Peter Thiel moving to Argentina, I don't know.
It became self-aware.
Could you imagine? Yeah. I think large language models have potential in background applications, but not in this fucking massive data center suck aspect that they're being used for, which, by the way, we have
No, they're just regurgitating what the best minds are saying.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. No, I agree. That is exactly what they're doing. It's useful for like minor automation stuff, not this fucking weird chatbot thing that it's being used for. And don't even get me fucking started on like fucking artwork. You know, I actually have to say this. There's a person in my life who I care for very deeply, who is a smart person, who the other day sent me a text message that started with, "Sure, here's a text message you can send Tanner." And I just went, okay. I would have been able to tell with the way the rest of it was structured, but could you've gotten rid of that part?
Oh, shit.
Person I care about deeply. I'm not trying to shit on them too much. Yeah, but Demi Moore, listen, that shit was annoying. But I do have to say, separating the art from the artist or whatever, Demi Moore is really good in this movie.
Yeah.
I liked how she like kept approaching calling them racist things. Like in the beginning, you get the urban bitches thing, and they even comment like that's so early 2000s.
I'm gonna say urban bitches is straight up racist.
No.
Yeah.
She doesn't go directly for it, like right for it. She gets super close to it. But at one point, she calls them Fustelarian bitches. That is an Elizabethan era insult. I did not know where she got fucking Fustelarian bitches from.
I had to look that one up after the movie because I didn't recognize that one. That's some like shit that shows up in Shakespeare's plays.
Some Shakespearean racism.
Oh, you mentioned that it's the Leaning Tower is based off a real building. It's
Yeah, what building is that?
Millennium
Tower.
Tower in San Francisco. It's the tallest structure in San Francisco, and they built it on clay. And the foundation, like the actual like beams and shit under the building, never touched bedrock. They were very optimistic, and so like by like 2023, the building had leaned like I think it was like 30 inches to the side or something. Some people call it the Leaning Tower of San Francisco. And the builders actually hid this information from people who bought space in the building, which is millions of dollars. Like, it's a luxury high-rise apartment. And so there were, like, just gigantic lawsuits. Because, you know, by, like, you know, as the years went on, people were like, wait a minute, why is my house sideways? And so, yeah, it's a real place in San Francisco. They did some renovations to try to fix it in 2023, but it's still, you know, kind of fucked up. So, yeah, that's what it's based off.
I didn't even realize you were allowed to build buildings this tall in San Francisco. I'm going to be honest.
Only on clay, apparently.
That's so... Because, like, most of the buildings in San Francisco are, like, 10 stories tall at the tallest. Which leads to a cool-looking thing, but good God, if you're not allowed to build... When you're in that small of a space, and you're not allowed to build vertically, you're gonna run into housing shortages. No wonder it's the most expensive city to live in.
I do wish I'd seen this with subtitles. I still haven't figured out how to like see a showing with subtitles. I don't think I've ever done it in my life unless it's like a movie that's not
Sometimes they have them hard-coded in random screenings, but usually your best bet is to go up front and be like, can I have the thing?
I was reading some comments. I like there were certain times, and I was locked in for this entire movie. I think it had a little bit of the Paul Thomas Anderson problem going on, where the sound mix was a little bit like heavy on the music, and the dialogue sometimes got drowned out by it. Because I had people in like in a Reddit thread, the official discussion thread for I Love Boosters, and one guy was brave enough to be like, I didn't hear some of the dialogue. Was that just by theater? And then one guy chimed in from Texas. He's like, I am at the flagship Alamo Draft House where the speakers were made by Jesus fucking Christ. And I also couldn't hear the dialogue. So I'm excited to rewatch this with subtitles, long story short.
It's so... People complain about that. People complain about the Christopher Nolan movie, sound mixing and Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't know if I have some freakish superpower, but I have never in my life, when seeing a movie in theaters, have had trouble understanding dialogue unless it has been intentionally, like, you're not supposed to understand what's saying because, like, it's like someone just went deaf or something. I didn't have a problem with this movie. I read the comment you're talking about. I didn't have a problem. Did you guys have problems?
I didn't have a problem with this movie.
Not that I can remember.
Tanner, have you seen a Paul Thomas Anderson movie on 35mm film? Because that's where we have the fucking problem.
That would do it, huh?
Yeah.
Specifically at a theater whose speakers aren't being done properly set up yet.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, this was the same costume designers, Everything Everywhere all at once. Had to bring that up.
My boy.
That does
or girl.
So fucking
the costume design is really spectacular and special, I think. Do you know apparently before Keke Palmer was cast, someone else was attached to star in this. Her name was that HBO show.
Euphoria?
Oh, Kate Winslet.
No, it's a black woman.
Euphoria?
She's bald, I think.
Oh, jeez.
Michaela
Cynthia Erivo?
Cole? No, not Cynthia Erivo.
I don't know that she's bald.
Which HBO show?
Is it?
Help us a little.
I'm trying to remember.
James
What-
Gandolfini?
What's it called? What's it called? I don't fucking remember what it's called.
Oh, are you talking about the chick from the season 4 of True Detective?
Michaela Cola.
Nope.
Coel?
Cole.
Okay. Apparently was supposed to originally star in this because apparently her and Boots Riley had some like back and forth correspondence when she was feeling unsure about herself, and then she saw Sorry to Bother You or something and reached out to him, and he gave her some wonderful advice and said, you just got to write. Even if you have nothing in your brain, you just have to write. And then she wrote and wrote and wrote, and then she was attached to star in this movie, and then some scheduling conflicts happened. And she had to drop out. And is currently dating a tech bro. Think of that what you will.
You guys remember how Oppenheimer got all that Oppen hype because they made Kodak made new 65mm black and white film for that shit? Fucking they
made lenses for this. They made custom lenses for this.
They got the fucking senior vice president of optical engineering at Panavision to make lenses for this. Fucking Dan Sasaki made lenses for this. He grabbed like a couple of lenses from the 50s and he fucking fused that shit together with demon magic. They did some weird shit. Like, I tried reading about it and couldn't even understand this shit. And I thought I knew cameras. They made one lens that was like had customized spherical aberration that persists across apertures, had like weird glass use that mimics the look of the thorium isotope. Weird science fiction shit. They made like a lithium plate that sits between the sensor and the lens in order to make people's skin look softer. They did some weird fucking wizard shit to make this movie look the way it does. And that's neat. Because you wouldn't expect that going into just, $20 million.
You don't expect like a $20 million movie to have technology custom made for it. That is something I usually expect for bigger movies. But Boots Riley is a respected artist, so it makes sense. Forgot to bring this up earlier. One of the funniest bits in the movie. Maybe even funnier than the fucking gags I mentioned before, which is when they're doing their booster selling and Lakeith Stanfield says, "Hey, it's me, gonna call you now," and then sends a selfie where he is doing what I can only describe as serving face, is so fucking funny. It's not just, "Hey, I'm gonna call you now," it's, "Hey, I'm gonna call you now," and then sending a selfie that you clearly probably took at least 5 times to try and look optimally sexy, I guess. It's really, really funny. And I wanted to bring that up because I forgot to bring it up earlier, and it's such a funny bit.
She tells him to like text her first before calling, and he texts her like 2 seconds before calling. And on top of that, he's in the area. He walks right up to her right after she like picks up the phone. It's so good. I love that character.
Such a good gag. I love when he hands out that flyer and he's like in that fucking back to school ass getup, like fucking Macy's, J.C. Penney's Old Navy back to school look with the sweater vest. It's so funny, especially because he kind of, I don't know about you, but when I saw that flyer, it almost looked like he was photoshopped into the clothes.
Oh yeah, he mostly
100%. TJ Maxx
and Ross.
It reminds me of whenever you like go to one of those websites that's like, "Here, order these t-shirts," and you start looking through the models wearing the t-shirts and you go, really identical looking poses here. What's that mean? What's that about? Go ahead, Austin.
You guys heard anything about Boots Riley's background as a Marxist? Kind of got into the thing of the boosters, but any of the how Boots Riley became a Marxist stories?
Well, he was a musician, and then he was like, "Actually, I need to focus on making a change," and they did some shit like protest against Prop 22 and stuff. They did a lot of important stuff in Oakland, specifically. Then he started making music again, but he never like, I'm not as familiar with it. I don't know the specifics, but I've read a bit about it.
He was trying to pick up girls. This van full of
He's
girls.
Obama.
This
drove up
Barack
to him.
Obama ass pickup artist.
He was like hanging out in this van full of like ladies showing
You
up.
told me about this. I can't believe I forgot.
Yeah, and they were like, "We're going to the beach. Want to get in here?" And he's like 14, so he's like, "Hell yeah, I want to get in the van full of ladies." And so he gets in, and they're like, "But first, we have to stop by and support the cannery strike." And he's like, "What?" And they just, fucking drag him around. And so they, before he gets to flirt or anything, they're just talking to him about fucking collective action and unionization and strikes and shit. And he had this thing, like, halfway through the van ride where he stopped, like, wanting to be with them and started wanting to be them. So Boots Riley's, like, Marxist origins are from just a big group of women, actually. So, yeah, this thing goes deep. The fucking women influencing his Marxist... Dude! At his high school, they tried to cancel summer break. This shit is like a Recess episode. So I think he went to Oakland High, and they were like, "No more summer vacation. We're doing year-round schools. Kids are shady." And so Boots, he got like 10% of the student populace to walk out. 2,000 kids to walk out of school, and it scared the school board so bad they put summer back. He was out there with a megaphone. He saved summer. This guy is like he's got main character energy, truth be told.
That's
He can't be a Marxist. He accomplished something. That's mean. That's mean.
Hey.
That's mean. That's mean. Not fair. I'm making fun of people that just post and are like, "I am a debased radical Marxist. Check out my tweets." I'm this person,
Okay.
to be clear.
No, but I need to argue now because, like, Karl Marx, philosopher, yeah, he was going to labor conferences and shit, but what was his main thing that he did? Writing. Okay, if he was alive today, he would be posting.
He would be a bread tuber.
He would be. I mean,
I'd love to watch the Karl Marx video essays about Star Wars and shit like that.
he literally would be making those.
No, I know. I'm saying that sincerely. I'd love to watch that shit. Karl Marx, 100% a gamer, and something that happened in the gaming is what radicalized him against capitalism. Modern day Marx.
No, posters.
It's when they raised video game prices, he went, "This can't
philosophers.
go on." It went from 60 to 70, and he went, "I can't do this."
I like the idea that Karl Marx saw he was like playing Oblivion and he saw the DLC where you just get horse armor.
Fucking horse armor! Horse armor!
Manifesto. Jesus Christ.
I'm sick of the horse armor. Oh my god. Carl, yeah, no. I definitely know some gamers that got radicalized by that. And it's only gotten worse. Fashion forward philanthropy. I know how philanthropy spelled. Branding, though. That's also a good bit. I just want to bring up bits I like.
Yeah. Got some good bits.
A lot of good bits. Viggo Mortensen is in this, by the way?
He narrates the documentary on Christy Smith.
Okay. I was looking at the IMDb and it said Viggo Mortensen, and I went, fucking Aragorn was in this? I missed that.
Yeah, he was naked for the recording session. That's commonly what he does.
And then when he kicked his helmet, he actually broke his foot, and they left it in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I just have to say this. I tried watching I'm a Virgo in prep for this because I knew that Boots was going to watch this and dislike me in particular, and I needed like a win. I'm like 2 episodes in, and I think it's the best thing he's ever fucking made. Go watch I'm a Virgo. Maybe torrent it because it's on Amazon Prime. And I don't know like what's better is supporting Boots or like on an Amazon platform. I don't know what that equals out actually. But it's fucking amazing. Boots has said in interviews he thinks I Love Boosters is the best thing he's ever made. I'm a Virgo is really fucking amazing though. They spent every dime of that fucking budget perfectly. And it's even more special effects heavy than this is. Cannot recommend it enough. Also, there's a song that plays at the end of the credits for this, Text Message Unsent by Keke Palmer. I spent like the whole day after this movie just listening to that song a lot and crying. I don't know why, but that song like got to me. And then I was doing some reading, and I think it's just because I haven't listened to R&B. Like, I think I don't actually pay attention to R&B as much as I should. So I hear, like, Baby's first SZA song, and I'm just like, this is profound. I love that song, though.
Who actually got to see the post-credit scene?
I saw.
I didn't, because I didn't know there was one. And when the movie ended, my theater turned the lights all the way up, which usually means there's nothing left. That's usually a tell. If there's actually a credit scene, they'll keep the lights off. But I guess they didn't with this one.
They fucked up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes
I still haven't seen it. I still haven't seen the post-credit scene. It's a bummer.
They covered the
Well,
spike.
spoilers. She doesn't get to eat her candy again. So.
The happy
What's the point of living? Yeah, from what I understand, it was Eiza Gonzalez character coming back and doing something.
It's a repeat of the mullet monologue from earlier, but explaining, like, how every time this conversation is had again, it's like different because time is a flat circle. I did not understand the point of it.
Yeah.
Lauren, did you
Well,
better than me?
Yeah.
Well, it was a visual thing too. Like, it was kind of like every time this conversation is had again, it escalates. Like, she's going up a spiral that's how I saw it.
I didn't get to actually watch it, but from what I read, it seems like it was just building upon explaining dialectical materialism. Which again, still can't believe a mainstream movie, not like super saturated wide release, but over 1,000 theaters. Like, if you lived in a smaller town, there was a chance this was still playing in a theater near you, unlike some other movies. A movie that was this widely accessible literally explained dialectical materialism as a plot point and was crucial to the plot. Dialectical materialism was the fucking MacGuffin. Like,
It's true.
I just still can't believe that. Austin, you need to lead with that next time. You need to lead with the Marxism ray next time.
Don't
I
worry,
don't know
there won't
why,
be a
but
next time.
I
Yeah,
took you
that's
as
sorry,
like
shit.
like a cunnilingus demon guy. Like, if I had to sell this to you, I completely misestimated you. I'm sorry.
I'll be honest, when you told me about that, I did not understand what you were saying either. Because I couldn't comprehend that he was a literal demon.
Yep.
So I thought you were
happy.
just like, this guy eats a lot of pussy. And I was like, all right, like they show it? Or what do you mean? What's the big deal there?
I mean, yeah.
Boy, do they show it all right. That's his actual wife. That's so funny. I know you brought that up earlier, but it's still just so funny.
As I was watching that, I was just like, man, I really want to like recommend this movie to my coworkers, but like when they go see it, they're going to see the scene and think of me. So maybe Boots Riley could have considered that in a movie where you're trying to get people to go talk to their coworkers
I
and
have
their
a
moms.
Oh,
I have a coworker right behind me who like always asks me, "Hey, did you see a movie? You see a movie?" And I told him, "Yeah, I saw I Love Boosters." And he's like, "Would you recommend it?" And I do remember going,
I do remember
one scene.
I do remember last year a female coworker came up and was like, "I'm thinking of going to see that movie together. What was that like?" And I'm just like, it's got some stuff."
really good screenplay. Really great screenplay from Michael Shanks. He did so good. I'm glad a movie like explained what dialectical materialism is. So now every time I run into the local DSA, I have some like friction with them because every time someone like sits me down in a corner of that one owl bar and explains to me what dialectical materialism is, like that's their way of greeting people. It's like when you run into a chud and they like bust out their copy of the bell curve. So now I can just like put my fucking finger up to them and be like, I've seen I Love Boosters. I already fucking know. And I can finally figure out what the second bullet point is.
with much love in my heart, I have been on the St. Louis's chapter of the DSA's mailing list for like 6 years now. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know what they do.
They sit you down and tell you what dialectical materialism is. They assume you don't read theory like they do.
They hosted a screening of Mississippi Masala once, the Mira Nair movie. Mayor Zoran's mom, one of her movies. Like after he won the primary. I remember they hosted a screening in the area, and I attended that because it was a free screening. And I thought they were going to use the opportunity to like maybe explain something about democratic socialism. And instead they're like, yep, thanks for watching the movie. You should consider going to our meetings. And then just like didn't try to sell us on it any further than that. I was like, you're doing such a great job, guys. I can't believe I used to pay dues to you.
Damn. Well, you know, at least they're not infiltrated like that one communist party locally.
Yeah, no, it could be worse. Their heart is in the right place.
It's a shame.
Let's move on to our final thoughts. Tim, what are your final thoughts on I Love Boosters?
I Love Boosters is really unique and fun and stylish and just very interesting movie that has a lot of great things to say. I again just definitely recommend checking it out. Keep an open mind. It might do some things that will push back on the normies watching it, but just keep an open mind and let the movie happen because it's really spectacular. Back to you, Tanner.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Austin, what are your final thoughts on I Love Boosters?
Until we get more leftists in the studio system, every single Boots Riley movie must be treated with the cultural importance of Barbenheimer. We live in a bullshit North Korea-style propaganda bubble that demonizes unions, striking, and collective action in general. And as somebody who enjoys some Ken Loach movies, I think we're extremely lucky that Boots is so fucking funny and creative, because important concepts like these usually aren't delivered in ways that are this entertaining and enjoyable. Boots is a fucking national treasure, and he's batting 3 out of 3 on quality. Go see I Love Boosters as soon as you fucking can.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Lauren, what are your final thoughts on I Love Boosters?
You know, I'm just thinking about how like everything negative that I've heard about North Korea or China in the media recently, everything that American media is like accusing either of those two countries of doing is shit that we actually do. So I just feel like every accusation is a confession a little bit. Anyway, speaking of Boots Riley kind of being radicalized by a bunch of women, I just remembered just now that I actually have been on a first date to a protest before. I was 24,
yeah.
Probably would. No. That was lame as fuck. I wouldn't do that shit again. No. Here's the thing. Like, I don't know. I don't think that, like, it is appropriate to bring a Tinder date to a protest. I don't know. Just looking back on it. But that dude sucks. I hope being around me radicalized him. Shit. Back to you, Tanner.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I really adored this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it has a lot of important things to say. I can't believe there was a mainstream movie that has dialectical materialism. And Mr. Boots Riley, can I have the Marxism ray? I promise to be responsible with the Marxism ray. Please give me the Marxism ray. But you know who else should be given the Marxism ray? You, the person watching / listening to this episode of Bomb Squad Matinee. Thank you oh so very much for tuning in. If you are listening on any of the audio platforms we're on, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. How about you leave us a review? It helps boost us in the algorithm or something. I don't know. I just work here. And if you are listening, how about you mosey on down over to our Patreon? You can give us money. For the $5 tier, you get access to the occasional commentary track we release. And for the $10 tier, you get a shout at the end of episode. So a special shout out to my mom, Tanya Kraft. Thank you so much for supporting our dreams, or at the very least, supporting our hobbies. And if you are not done giving us money, you can head over to our merch store. That's right. We got merch now. BombSquadProductions.shop. We got shirts. We got hoodies. We got posters. We got stickers. We got magnets. We got all kinds of good stuff there. Go ahead, add it to your cart, check it out. The money goes to us. It helps us do stuff, ideally, in the future. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you oh so very much for watching. We really appreciate it. How about you mosey on down over to the comment section below and let me know, what do you think of I Love Boosters? What do you think of Boots Riley as a filmmaker? What's your favorite Boots Riley project? Whether that be a movie, TV show, or album even. What is your experience of dialectical materialism? What would you do with the Marxism ray? And finally, would you wear one of those crazy ass skin suits? Comment below and let me know. While you're down there, hit the like button so you know how much you like us. Hit the subscribe button so you know how much you love us. Hit the bell icon to know exactly when we upload new videos. Thank you again so much for watching. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Is there anything you'd like to plug or shout out before we go?
No.
All right, fair enough. Just wanted to check. Not everyone's got shit. Well, in that case, once again, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week when we talk about a movie that in an episode that's going to be hosted by Tim. Tim, what movie is that going to be?
We're talking about the Brian De Palma 1976 classic Carrie. We're gonna get bloody in this motherfucker, so be sure to tune in.
Should be a lot of fun, and we will see you then. So again, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and unionize your workplace. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, hey, hi, hi, hey, hey, hi, hi, hey, ho.
Do do do
Hey,
do 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 do.
All right, hearts.
This is just absurdism for absurdism's sake. I still don't know how I'm going to tie this into what we're talking about, what I'm doing.
You like autoerotic asphyxiating yourself right now? What's happening?
God, if only. I'm fucking ready for it, man.
Please leave that in. Please leave that in.
I slid my ticket across the table and I said, "Sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl."